Right. Hello. How are you doing today? Hope you're having a good day. It's a pretty nice day out here as well. It's not too sunny and not too cloudy. Just perfect. I would like to talk about a subject that's been on my mind for a while now. I would like to talk about aggression. I would like to talk about the forms of aggression that I've personally experienced in my life over the years. And I would like to talk about how you could avoid them, or how you could combat them, how you could fight aggression. So, a little bit of a background, right? As some of you might know, I've just had my entrance exams. Yesterday was my last one, and I am now officially in the summer break. Yeah, I've made the realization, ever since I've finished school and I've had my exams and everything, I've just had a really depressing realization, right? So, just bit of extra context, to this. I've been having some problems with some kids in my class ever since years back, right? Years and years of altercations and all sorts of problems. But I would like to think, I would really like to think that I was on the receiving end and I was not the one doing all that, and I can support my claim. I was not the one that acted like a bitch. I was not the one that harassed people for the way they were. No. I was just a random kid, enjoying life, doing whatever he wanted to do. But, you're always going to find arrogant people wherever you are. That's for sure. You're always going to find people who think they're better than you. Just because they wear some expensive clothes or, I don't know, just because they know some shit about sports. Just an example, nothing personal, but don't give in. Don't give in to any kind of bullshit like that because it is what it is. Bullshit. It's bullshit. Anyways, um, so yeah, I've been having problems with a few of my uh classmates since a few years back. A few years, as in around 3 to 4 years, right? And I've just realized that those problems they never seem to change, right? They always were horrible. They were always unpleasant. They were always very, very scary to deal with. They were always very draining. Those problems, but so I've had some kids, picking on me and all that kind of shit. I mean, I guess if you're a small kid, right? If you're a young kid, you don't really mind it too much, because it's just what it is. It's playing. It's some dumb words thrown around with no actual meaning, right? But once you get older and people start realizing what they say has a meaning, when they start realizing that and they say those things, it hits different, really. So yeah, and I've been I've been on the receiving end of the aggression for 3 years of my life at this point. I've been thrown around. I've been threatened. I've been threatened to be cut. I've been threatened to be stabbed. I've been threatened to be fucked in all kinds of ways. I've been threatened to just, you know, I was just, yeah, I was threatened by those kinds of people. And I never, I always tried, right? I always tried to face them. I've never tried to leave them be. I mean, as much as I remember, I was very keen on just saying, "Oh, I'll just ignore them, right? I'll ignore them; they'll go away." But the thing is, I ignored them 3 years ago, and yet they're still here to this day. To this day, they still, for some reason, they dislike me. And I've come to think it's just jealousy and just the fact that they want to dominate people. So jealousy and the need for domination is what drives those people, and especially those two that I know. Yeah. Um, Lately, I've been ever since I've gone into self improvement, and I've been exercising a lot more, and I've been doing a lot of uh, healthy and productive habits. I've been growing myself as a human being. I've been finding things about me that I never thought I would know, really. Ever since then, I've become so much more confident, right? My confidence has gone through the roof at this point. And yeah, which is that confidence has been put into this YouTube channel as well, because you wouldn't see my face around here, because if I weren't confident right now, I would not be showing my face. But I've made a leap of faith, and yeah, I'm here. So I've became more confident over time, and the shit that those people gave me, it became less and less hurtful, to say, really, because you grow as a person and you start to realize that those people, they mean nothing to you. They have no life, they have no actual meaning in their life. They just go around, they just float around without even knowing what they're doing, without even having some sort of aspiration or a goal. Yeah, but it's always hurt. As much as I would like to say, that I've ignored them and yeah, I just didn't care about them, acting all strong and tough. No, it's hurt, really. You know, to know those people for so long, I've always believed that people can change, right? It's never it's never that you just remain the same person your entire life. No, you can change. You can become an entirely different person over a lifetime. And I really thought about that. I really believed in that when I saw those people, right? Those bastards. I really, really thought that they could change, and I give them a chance. I try to be their friend at points. I've tried to be nice to them. I've tried to not interfere with them, and yet they were the ones that kept harassing me. They were the ones that kept trying to threaten me and scare me and dominate me for some reason. No, yeah. So it's always hurt. It's always been a struggle, and I find it unacceptable, that I've gotten to the point where I would be afraid. I would just feel my heart pumping, thumping in my chest, just because I would enter my classroom and I would see those guys. It was fucking horrible, really. And no, nobody did anything about it. That's also a thing. You know how when there's these kinds of aggressions, you are basically told to talk to somebody, like talk to a supervisor, an adult, somebody who can take control of the situation and change it for the best, somebody who's qualified or somebody who has some sort of authority, and I did that. I ever since I've started being harassed and aggressed, I've always talked to my parents. I've always talked to my teachers. I've always tried to talk to my teachers. My parents, I've always talked to them, and they've always gave me good advice. Um, they've always given me a reason to go forward. They've always been by my side, and I cannot thank them enough for that. They've always been with me and supported me. So naturally, you as an adult, you cannot really interfere in some stupid stuff that some kids do. I mean, you can just tell your kid, oh well, go to the teacher. Go to the teacher and tell the teacher about it. Yeah, because this was at the time when we still had one teacher for all classes, right? So I remember one time, it was a really, really interesting day. I felt I was being harassed. I was being shamed for being just basically being who I was, at the time. And so I finally had the guts to go up to my teacher and tell her, tell her that I've been harassed, I've been called all kinds of things, I've been threatened, and the only thing she actually told me was to stop being such a coward, stop being such a pussy, stop caring. That is what she told me. She had the authority to change something, and yet she just told me to stop caring, stop being a little pussy. And that was when I was young, man. I was a really young kid, right? So when I heard that, it broke me. I did not really find it that powerful at the time, but with a little bit of time, a few days later, it just came back to me. And it fucking broke me, man. You know, how can you have somebody who you're supposed to trust? How can you have somebody who's supposed to protect you and help you live your life in a good manner tell you all those kinds of things? How is that? How is that even a thing, man? Fucking hell. She ignored all my calls for help. She ignored them all. She always called them off as just some joke, right? But it was not a joke to me, man. I was devastated every day when that kind of stuff would happen to me. I was young, I was sensitive, and I was really, yeah, I really needed help, right? I really needed somebody's help. And yet, the person who could help me the most turned me away, you know? And I hoped that things would change, after we moved, we moved classes, so on and so forth, and we at that point we had a single teacher for every subject, right? It was the real deal. So at at some point, right, it got better, right? At some point they stopped caring about me and they went moved forward and done whatever, right? At some point, but there was always competitiveness and there was always aggression and dominance being played in the game. There was always aggression. No, it never really stopped. It was on and off, but that off really wasn't really that off. No, that fucking makes no sense, man. Uh, when I would say on and off, it just meant sometimes it was better, sometimes it was fucking bad, and I've went through all of that, and I've always tried to talk to my teachers. I've always tried to tell them about my problems, and the most I've had was some teachers going up to talk to them and tell them to stop doing what they're doing, and that was it. Like a simple 2-minute conversation saying, "Oh, you see, you're disturbing this guy, so how about you stop, please? Thank you, bye bye." That was it. Not even 2 minutes worth of conversation. And now those guys, they know what I've said, and they know that I've basically stood up to them, and now they feel threatened. Now they feel like I'm going to do something. Just because I'm trying to stand up for myself. Have a little bit of dignity, and yet I got things got even worse after that. Things would even get worse, and yeah, believe it or not, yesterday I tried to make this video, right? I tried to film this video, and at some point in the video, it just evolved into a 40-minute rant, which was really, really not something I would put on YouTube, right? So I've decided to just come back and try to make it as simple and as friendly as possible, right? And I've had countless times, even in this past year, right? This past year, I'm a full-grown teenager at this point, right? I'm capable of thinking for myself. I'm capable of doing things for myself. I've still been harassed. I've still been kicked in the chest and face and whatever, metaphorically. I've never really gotten into fights, but the um the aggression was really mental. It was kind of the mental kind of aggression. It was violence that was directed towards my self-esteem, towards my confidence, towards my um towards my head, really. And I can safely say, I can safely say that those people they've ruined a part of my childhood. That's it. No, nothing else. They've ruined a part of my childhood, something that was so dear to me, that they made it so bad. Now, when I think back on it, I rarely have any good memories of it. I just think of all those horrible things that have happened, all those times where I felt hopeless, in the face of face of evil, you could say. You know, I've had nothing to do, and I just had to sit through it and take their shit. You know, and that kind of really led to me having no self confidence, having no confidence in myself whatsoever, having no self esteem, having no dignity, really. It turned me into a desperate kid who just would do anything to have some sort of affection from a person, right? I was scared to be around people really because, you know, trauma really does things to a person. Not really strong trauma, right? Not the kind of stuff that would really haunt me at night, but it's stuff, that just comes up in daily stuff, right? You would be talking to a person, right? And you just see that they're not in their best mood, right? And that instantly made me go back and think of all the times, of all the aggression, of all the harassment, and it instantly made me feel small, instantly made me feel attacked, threatened, and I would just cower, even though the person, they were just, that was just the way they were that day. Maybe they had a bad day or something, and they were just conveying their feelings. They meant no real harm to me, and yet I was the one feeling threatened, and I was the one feeling vulnerable. So it's something that is still stuck with me to this day, and whenever I think back, I'm always angry, and I cannot look back on it and think, oh yeah, I forget those guys. No, I do not forgive them. As much as people say, you should forgive others for their stupidity, maybe try to show them the way. No, I've tried to be friends with those people, and yet they've put me down. They've turned me into a coward, into a pussy, into somebody with no self-esteem whatsoever. And I was left down there in a rut, rotting on my own. No friends, no real connections with people, nothing. But after a while, things got better. The pandemic came, the COVID-19 pandemic, 2 years back, and I got into online school. I didn't really see those guys too much, right? Never really had interactions with them, so there was no more harassment, for a good year or so in online school and so on. But once I got back to school, it was back in full force. People were very competitive in everything. You could not just have a normal conversation with a person because they would take offense to anything, and they would always jump at you. They would always jump at your throat. So that was not really helping either. With the situation with making friends and trying to get myself back on my feet, right? But I've somehow managed to do just that. I've gotten back on my feet, right? A year or so back, and I've started realizing that I have dignity. I'm a human being. I'm just as a human being as those retards are. And as much as I would like to say, that I've completely disregarded them and I've completely forgot about them. No, I still feel a strong sense of anger when I think about them. I still feel desperate whenever I think back on a situations where I've tried to be tried to stand up for myself, and tried to get help, and people would not realize. They would just push me aside, and it's always stuck with me, man. The last year or so, it's been the worst. This is when the threatening, and I've been threatened with violence. I've been threatened to be cut. I've been threatened to be stabbed, right? I've been threatened that the second I would get out of school, they would just come and stab me. For fuck's sake, you know? It's literally unimaginable how stupid some people can be, you know? How many stupid things can come out of their mouths. And they don't even think about it, you know? They don't even realize it. It's mad, honestly. And something that really infuriates me more than all the things that I talked about at this point is how I would be, yeah, I told you, I would be scared to go in my class, right? I would take up the courage to go in my class, and boom, the first thing I would hear is those two people. I would not like to call them some other things because, yeah, those two people, they would be the first ones to comment. It was always clothes. It was always the way my hair was staying. I don't see anything wrong with my hair, my man. You know, really cool cut, really fresh. Anyway, they would constantly harass me and pick at my clothes, you know. But I'm wearing genuine normal clothes, man. You know, I'm not trying to stand out in any way, shape, or form. I've never tried to search for attention. I am just a normal human being, you know, existing. And yet I get shit for it. So think about it. You get shit just for being a normal human being. Just for existing, you get shit. That's mad. Honestly, that is absolutely undescribably mad. And the very worst part about this, you know, is that teachers would often be in the class when this was happening, and they would not say anything about it. They would never really do anything about it. No, no, they would just sit on their ass, doing whatever the fuck they were doing, and they would never, ever make an effort to try to stop what was going on. They saw it. They kept seeing it happen. You know, I kept talking about it. I kept telling them to do something about it because it's getting out of hand. You know, and I was not the only one that was getting harassed, right? I was not the only one that was getting shit from those people. There were so many people, you know, that got shit just for being who they were, just for liking certain things. They got shit for it, you know, and I was not feeling like getting shit from those people just for being who I am, you know. So I would tell teachers, you know, I would genuinely tell them about what was going on, and they would not care. They would just tell me, "Oh yeah, well, just settle down, kid, settle down." And that was it. 2 minutes later, same shit going on, same fucking stuff. And the best they could do was tell them to shut up for the entirety of class. And after class was over, I'd get up in the halls. I'd just walk around the halls, and those guys would just come and push me from side to side, just shove me around, you know? And, you know, you might think, why don't you fight back? You know? I don't know, man. You know, I've been in this situation for 3 years of my life, you know? Been in this fucking situation for 3 years of my life. I've been taking this shit almost on a daily basis, you know? At this point, it just gets normal, you know? It's not no longer something that I would seem to consider a big deal, right? But now that I finished school and I see that I'm at home, right? And there's nothing like this going on. I'm just living my life. I'm enjoying myself, you know? And I don't get shit for it, you know? I realize how fucked up my school years were, you know? I realize how messed up and how horrible some people can be. And how sometimes you are alone. As much as I hate to say it, sometimes you will have to face things your way on your own, you know? Sometimes you will need to take responsibility for yourself and not end up like me. Do not end up like me. Please. Don't end up destroying yourself and destroying your self-image and your dignity just because of some two idiotic people who have no sense of conservation, who have no sense of just being a nice human being for once. You know, don't care. Do not ever take what those people say into consideration. All right? Never ever care what they say, because mostly it's just bullshit, you know? And rarely, and very, very rarely, is it something that's actually worth listening to. And I don't think I've looked at those guys ever in those 3 years since I've been harassed and say, oh well, that's something that I would like to have, you know? That's something, there's something in their personality that I would like to have in myself. No, there's nothing there, you know? And you could say, well, why not be confident like them? Because that's not confidence, that's just jealousy, you know? That's just jealousy because you are such a weak human being for picking on other people, and yet you want to feel like you're doing something. You want to feel like you're cool, you want to feel like you are validated. So you threaten people, you start doing all those things because you're scared. The base of all these aggressions is fear. You know, you are intimidated by the other person, so you constantly try to dominate them. You constantly try to put your foot over their chest for no reason, just because you feel like the world is gonna end. You know, if you're not the best at something, if you're not always the best at whatever you want to be the best at, or just because there's another human being next to you doesn't mean you have to become a horrible person. You know, I've had so many issues with this. You know, I can still feel it in my daily life. I still feel so disappointed in myself, and I still feel a daily amount of sadness and regret for myself because of those things that happened. You know, because of those 3 years, I constantly have a sense of fear in myself. I constantly have a sense of pain. You know, but I've been working out. I've been exercising a lot. I've been studying hard for my exams. I've been reading a bunch of amazing books. I've been spending time with my family. I've been socializing with the people who I consider good. I've been socializing with random people on the street, right? And I've been doing all these things, and I finally feel like I'm getting some sort of a foothold in this hurricane that I call my life. Really, it might not seem, at first glance, it might not seem like something mad, something that is just so chaotic, you know. But to me, it's been a crazy ride, and I need a foothold, I need a little break from all this shit. So yeah. So the purpose of this video mainly is just don't end up like me, please. Don't end up the way I am, Don't end up going through the same pain that I had to go through. It's unnecessary pain that just destroys you, really. And you might say you grow through discomfort, but this was not discomfort. This was not that kind of discomfort. This was horrible aggression and bullying and all kinds of hate. This was not discomfort. This was not just a simple discomfort which could help you grow as a person. No, this was pure hate being projected onto other people for no reason. But yeah, I'm hopeful in myself. I'm hopeful. I trust in my abilities to live my life, and I will not let anybody do that kind of shit ever again. No, it's time to fight fire with fire. You know, It's time to finally put an end to all of this bullshit. It's finally time to stand up for yourself and take control of your life in all aspects of it. Do not let yourself be dragged around by anybody under any circumstance. Because you are your own fucking person, you have your own fucking life, and you have your own fucking aspirations and goals, which will not be destroyed by some horrible people who mean nothing but pain to you. Good luck to you, man. I hope you've somewhat understood what I've been trying to say, and yeah, fight fire with fire. Love you. Bye bye.